There's a massive tower there, which again dates back right to the end of the last ice age. Huge megalithic tower with the world's oldest known megalithic stairway that runs up inside it. If Göbekli Tepe hadn't been found, none of this would have happened.
Across the ruins of forgotten empires, buried beneath layers of sand, soil, and shattered civilizations, an impossible symbol keeps resurfacing like a whisper from prehistory. You see it carved into the walls of Mesopotamian palaces, held firmly in the hands of winged beings said to descend from the heavens. You see it in the steaming jungles of ancient Mexico, gripped by supernatural creatures emerging from serpents and jaguars. And you see it etched on the oldest monumental site ever discovered, Gobekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe was a game changer, but I think it's a game changer for everything, because Göbekli Tepe, the extraordinary nature of it, we're looking at a major megalithic site, which is at least 5,500 years older.
Carved by people who lived before writing, before metal tools, even before agriculture. It's small, rounded, almost ordinary. A handbag, a shape so familiar to modern eyes that it feels out of place, like a joke or a mistake. But the deeper archaeologists dug, the stranger it became.
The handbag-like carvings can be found in ancient carvings worldwide.
Civilizations separated by oceans, separated by millennia, separated by every barrier imaginable, all carved the exact same object, with the exact same proportions, held the exact same way. Coincidence? Imitation? Or the remnant of something far older, something that survived long after the world that birthed it was gone? Today, we follow the trail of this symbol across continents and across time, and explore one of archaeology's most haunting enigmas, the handbags of the gods. The first moment this mystery emerged from the dust. The first discovery. The mystery begins in the 1840s. British explorer Austen Henry Layard was cutting his way through the ruins of Nimrud, once the beating heart of the Assyrian Empire, a place of kings, conquests, and colossal temples, a city swallowed by time. As workers cleared thick layers of dust from a crumbling stone wall, Layard noticed a faint outline. Not a simple shape, but a figure so detailed it seemed almost alive. A towering, winged being, half man, half eagle. Majestic, watchful, carved with astonishing precision. In its left hand, it held a pine cone-like object. In its right, that curious shape Layard had never seen before. A small rectangular container with a curved handle, a handbag. Layard was confused, but the confusion only grew as more reliefs came to light. At Nineveh, at Dur-Sharrukin, in temple after temple, the same beings appeared again and again. The same posture, the same pinecone tool, the same unmistakable handbag, always held upright, always held deliberately, always shown in scenes of blessing, protection, or sacred ritual. Assyriologists eventually gave the object a name, Bandudu, a ritual vessel carried by the Apkallu, mythical sages said to have taught humanity the arts of civilization. For decades, scholars accepted this explanation, but the mystery was about to grow far stranger, because halfway around the world, the same symbol was about to appear again. Next, a discovery in the jungles of Mexico that shattered coincidence. A global puzzle emerges. It was the 1940s when archaeologist Matthew Stirling began excavating La Venta, an ancient Olmec ceremonial center hidden deep in southern Mexico's jungle. Among the ruins, he found Monument 19, a stone relief depicting a supernatural figure rising from the open jaws of a serpent. It had the slanted eyes of a jaguar, the posture of a deity, the aura of something powerful, something sacred. But Stirling's breath caught when he saw the object held in the creature's hand. Rounded body, curved handle, perfect proportions, a handbag, shaped exactly like the bandudu layered, had found on the other side of the world. But this carving came from a culture more than 2,000 years younger, and one with no known contact with Mesopotamia. The Olmecs had no ships capable of crossing the Atlantic. No shared stories, no shared gods, no shared iconography. And yet, the same symbol appeared. One coincidence is easy to dismiss. Two is impossible to ignore. And soon, evidence from a third site, older than both, would push this mystery into the realm of the extraordinary. Next, the oldest temple ever built, and the symbol that shouldn't exist within it. Göbekli Tepe, the oldest carvings of all. In the hills of southeastern Turkey lies a site that rewrote the story of human civilization, Göbekli Tepe. Built more than 11,000 years ago, long before the invention of writing or the rise of agriculture, it is the oldest known monumental temple complex ever discovered. Humanity shouldn't have been capable of building it, yet somehow they did. Massive limestone pillars arranged in rings, animals carved with precision, foxes, birds, snakes, lions, stone so expertly worked that modern builders still marvel at its craftsmanship. And on one pillar, near the top, 3 symbols stand in perfect alignment. 3 handbags, 3 identical shapes, 3 perfect matches to the symbol found in Mesopotamia and ancient Mexico. This wasn't trade. It wasn't cultural diffusion. It wasn't coincidence. It was something else. The people of Gobekli Tepe lived at the dawn of human organized society, long before advanced tools or complex art styles. Yet they carved the same symbol that would echo across millennia. Why? How? Next, the mainstream explanation and why it falls apart under scrutiny. Ritual or revelation? Mainstream archaeologists offer a simple explanation for the Mesopotamian handbag. It was a ritual bucket. The pine cone-like object, the mullalu, was dipped into it to sprinkle holy water as a blessing or purification ritual. Neat, clean, logical. But there's a problem, a big one. Despite thousands of excavations across Mesopotamia, no physical bandudu has ever been found. No clay version, no wooden version, no metal version, nothing. If this object was central to religious ceremonies for centuries, why does it exist only in stone? Why do we find fragile jewelry, delicate bowls, and cracked figurines, but never this sacred container? And even stranger, why does the symbol appear in cultures that should have no possible way of knowing about Mesopotamian rituals? Göbekli Tepe predates them by 7,000 years. The Olmecs lived an ocean away, yet the handbag persists. If it were just a ritual bucket, why does its meaning appear to transcend culture, geography, and time? Something doesn't add up. Next, theories that reach beyond archaeology into ancient memory. The forgotten civilization theory. Some researchers propose a radical possibility. What if the handbag did not originate in Mesopotamia, or Mexico, or Gobekli Tepe? What if it came from somewhere older, much older? Writers like Graham Hancock and others suggest the handbags may represent knowledge carried from a civilization that existed before the last ice age. A culture destroyed by global catastrophe, remembered only in myths as the gods, the ancestors, or the teachers. According to this theory, the handbags weren't ritual buckets. They were containers of sacred knowledge, tools of forgotten technology, symbols carried by survivors who spread across the world, teaching humanity after the fall. Across cultures, mythic beings appear as bringers of civilization. The Apkallu in Mesopotamia, Quetzalcoatl in Mesoamerica, Viracocha in the Andes, oans rising from the sea, all described as part human, part divine, all shown carrying something, all remembered as teachers. It seems unbelievable until you stand beneath the pillars of Gobekli Tepe and realize someone 11,000 years ago carved a symbol that would echo into two other civilizations, separated by oceans and time. Could this be a message, a legacy, a memory carved in stone? Next, a deeper explanation, one that looks inward instead of outward. A language older than writing. Psychologists and mythologists offer another interpretation. The handbag, they argue, is not a literal object, but an archetype, a universal symbol representing the container of the unknown, the vessel of hidden truth, the womb of creation, the sacred box that holds cosmic order. All cultures use closed containers to symbolize the sacred, Pandora's jar, holding the secrets of the world, the Ark of the Covenant, sealed and untouchable, the Holy Grail, source of divine life, Egyptian canopic jars, guarding the essence of the dead, ritual bowls in India, symbols of the cosmos. The handbag fits perfectly into this pattern, always closed, never opened, never showing what's inside, not because it held water or grain, but because it held meaning. Göbekli Tepe's builders may have seen it as the vessel of cosmic order, the Mesopotamians as the container of divine life, the Olmecs as the source of rain and fertility. Different cultures, different stories, same archetype. Something sacred must be carried. Something powerful must be protected. Next, the human stories behind the carvings. Gods, guardians, and mythic memory. In Mesopotamian stories, the Apkallu were not gods, but they were not human either. They were culture. Heroes sent to teach humanity agriculture, writing, mathematics, and law. Always depicted with wings, always carrying the handbag. The Olmec being on Monument 19 emerges from a serpent, symbol of transformation and cosmic knowledge. It holds the handbag as if it were part of its identity. At Gobekli Tepe, the pillars show otherworldly beings, creatures that blend human and animal traits, holding the same object. The pattern is unmistakable. The handbag appears not in scenes of daily life, but in scenes of transformation, moments when gods descend, when knowledge is shared, when worlds change. It marks a threshold, a crossing, a moment when the divine touches the human. What then were these ancient carvers trying to tell us? Next, the modern explanation and why it still falls short. Coincidence, copy, or something else. Skeptics say the handbag is simply an easy shape to carve, a tool that happened to be common across cultures. But several things challenge this idea. Why is the form so specific? Proportions nearly identical across 10,000 years. Why is it always associated with supernatural beings? Why does it appear only in religious or mythological contexts? Why is it found on the oldest monumental structures ever built? Why did no mundane, practical containers ever use this shape? Why was it never shown open, carried by normal people, or used in daily tasks? The handbag is exclusive, intentional, sacred, and its persistence across continents suggests something far deeper than coincidence. Next, what this symbol might actually represent. The meaning in the mystery. Perhaps the handbag of the gods is not a bucket, or a bag, or a relic. Perhaps it is a message, a symbol carried across generations through myth and memory. A reminder that knowledge is precious, fragile, and dangerous if mishandled. It may represent creation, civilization, transformation, the spark that separates humanity from the wild. The symbol remains closed because the truth inside it was never meant to be fully understood, only honored, only carried, only remembered. The ancients carved the handbag again and again because it represented something essential, something that could not be lost, even if its meaning faded. Next, the final revelation this symbol leaves behind. The legacy of the handbags. The handbags of the gods are more than carvings. They are echoes, echoes of knowledge preserved through catastrophe, echoes of symbols carried across cultures, echoes of a story older than any civilization we know. Whether the handbags represent a lost civilization's tools, a cosmic archetype, a ritual container, or a vessel of divine wisdom, they endure because they reflect something timeless within us. Our instinct to protect what matters. Our desire to pass wisdom across generations. Our need to guard the sacred. In the end, the greatest mystery is not what was inside the handbag, but why so many believed it was worth carrying at all. Maybe the ancients were trying to tell us something. Maybe the symbol is not about what is hidden, but about the responsibility to preserve what must never be lost. Because history isn't finished, not by a long shot. And somewhere out there, perhaps buried beneath another forgotten ruin, another handbag waits. Another piece of the story still untold.